Tuesday, just 2 months from the first vote by mail ballots going out. The question is, will Joe Biden be on those ballots? By the end of the weekend, we could have an answer. As we speak, President Biden is on his...
Dude, why is the media saying like by the end of this week we could have the answer, as in like this ABC interview is going to make it or break it? He already had his make it or break it moment and he broke it. We were all there. We watched it. That's the reason why this coverage is happening. It's broke, bro. It's broke. You played a role in breaking it too. It's not like white old man gets so many second chances. No shot. To be fair, I think they said the interview would be unedited. Then fucking film it live. Like what? Film it and release it live. What are we talking about, dude? Like, oh, it won't be edited. Okay, sure, dude. Yeah. I already told you what Biden is doing. Senior administration official confirmed on call with reporters about Biden's solo press conference will take place next Thursday afternoon. Yeah, he's running the clock. They literally are just going, oh yeah, I'll do another thing that you guys want me to do. Okay, I'll do a press conference in front of a contentious media next Thursday. And the reason why he's doing that is because every week that passes makes it all that more, all the more less likely for him to be off the ballot. Okay, he is trying to crawl not towards the finish line being November 5th. He's trying to crawl to the convention, which is so fucking gross. Once people recognize that reality, I suspect they'll be a little bit more angry. I don't think people have noticed that yet. I've been saying this now since the debate. He is literally trying to desperately get to the convention so it becomes a matter of like, it's not even a question at that point. Because every day that passes by where Joe Biden is still the nominee and doesn't drop out makes it all the less likely that someone else will replace him. If he actually wanted to genuinely address these conspiracies and basically disparage them as nothing but rumors, he would be doing a press conference the next morning and being like, yeah, you guys are crazy. I mean, yeah, I had a bad debate. It's whatever. It happens. Here I am. Go ahead. Ask me questions. And then he would do more appearances immediately after. Biden asked about Senator Mark Warner, wanted him to step aside. President Biden responded, he's the only one. No, he's not the only one.
Because I've beaten him before and I've gotten more done than any president has.
Have you spoken to members of Congress?
No,
Dude, what planet is he living on? Like, he literally thinks he's gangbusters? Like, what's happening here? Like, you have to be demented to think that, like, your shit is so hot right now. Like, oh, I gotten a lot more done than any other president. It's like, where is this ego coming from, old man? What the fuck are you saying right now? Is he on the Hunter Biden crack or what? It's actually kind of crazy that he's just like genuinely delusional and thinks that the situation is great for him. I did so much. You cast me aside in 2020. You wrote me off on 2022. It's like, bitch, you weren't on the ballot in 2022. What the fuck are you talking about? 2022 ostensibly was the anti-fucking super far-right reactionary, the reactionary response. It was the fucking response to Roe v. Wade. You were nowhere near that ticket. If you were near that ticket, you would have gotten cooked anyway. Oh, and in 2020, COVID carried your ass, dude. The president got COVID, like, so close to the goddamn election. I don't know why people refuse to recognize how important that is. Fuck. Okay, but how should he be acting? I understand what you mean, but it's not like he should be publicly crying. He should be dropping out, dude. What are you talking about? He shouldn't be operating like this fake, phony, tough guy act. He should be dropping out. That's how he should be acting. He should go up to the first fucking microphone he sees and says, I am no longer running for president, and I will not accept the nomination, even if the party elects me or appoints me as the presidential candidate. The LBJ method. Okay? That's what he should be doing.
You've been wrong about everything so far. You were wrong about 2020. You were wrong about 2022. We were going to get wiped out. Remember the red wave? You were wrong about 2023. And you said all the tough races, we won them all but 2. So, look, we'll see.
Have you spoken? How can you participate?
Voters have to vote like democracy depends on it, but politicians don't have to politic like democracy depends on it. Yeah. Also, the media wasn't anti-Biden in 2020. What the fuck are we talking about? They literally were super pro-Biden. The media hated Donald Trump, only to look back fondly at Donald Trump because their ratings were so much better. And before people say, Hasan, you're the media, your ratings are worse now. Remember, my ratings were fucking awesome for the first 3 years, 4 years almost. My ratings have been shitty since October 7. That's a matter of my own personal convictions and my own personal principles. Before October 7, shit was fine. Remember that. Anyway, the media and Democrat loyalists killed off the Me Too movement when Biden got accused. The only thing Biden needs is 3 minutes of ads at the top of the hour. Why did I read that? Okay, it is late. It's like, okay, it's fucking midnight here. That's why I read that. That's so stupid of me. God damn it. It's not, you didn't even try hard. You didn't even fucking try hard, Yedick. God damn it. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. I'm just like Biden. There's a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. If you no longer want to see those fucking ads, all you need to do is subscribe. Mehdi may be watching. Maybe. Oh my God. Did he just tweet this out literally as I was saying it? It's probably parallel thinking. That is crazy. That's crazy that he said Biden is running down the clock, which is selfish, is reckless, but above all else is transparent. Anyway, I feel bad because I was talking about his takes on Corbyn's anti-Semitism earlier now. I did defend him though. Isn't it showing tweets based on your time zone? Yes. My computer's time zone is 2:50. It's 3 p.m. right now on my computer. My laptop is LA time always. So it's actually 2:50 p.m. PST, which is 10 minutes ago, which is exactly when I said Biden is not running across the finish line. He's not running the time. He's not running out the clock for November 5. He's running out the clock until the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. How much was the viewership before October 7? I was a steady 30K. Always. Sometimes higher, sometimes lower, but always steady 30K was the base. 28K max? No. Ukraine caused a dip too? Nah, Ukraine doesn't matter. Like, Ukraine dipped, but it wasn't that it was marginal. Post-Ukraine, it were still 30K. Clipped? No, that's not what I meant. Fuck. Used to have 40K watching MasterChef? Yeah, those are COVID numbers. That's a bubble ring. That's a Mickey Mouse ring, brother. That's like that. That's different. Anyway, 30 minutes until the first ABC teaser drops. Oh, I can't fucking wait. Here's the 3-minute ad right now. Odds that Biden flubs the interview, low. Low. I think that Biden doesn't flub the interview. Once again, Biden doesn't flub this interview because Biden has done interviews like this before, and he's done fine. ABC, they're going to release the full transcript. No, it doesn't matter. He can perform in a situation like that. Okay. Even if it's not edited, I don't think you guys understand. He can perform in a situation like that. He has performed in a situation like that. He'll have a couple gaps in there, but it won't be. I think that if your expectation is that he like boofs this thing utterly, I think you're wrong. Anyway.
In Madison, Wisconsin for a campaign rally. He is also going to sit down there with ABC's George Stephanopoulos for his first on-camera interview since the debate. It will be, fair to say, the most important interview of his very long career, because if he's going to stay in the race, he must convince voters, donors, and Democratic lawmakers that he can handle not just the next 4 months, but the next 4 years. The campaign says, of course he can, and he does not sound like a man about to bow out of the race.
You got me, man.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins us now live from the White House. Priscilla.
I bet you Biden crashes and burns in this interview. I don't think so. Like, I'm telling you right now, I think he does like fine in this interview. He has like a couple moments. The media will still hyper focus on those moments and it'll be reflected as like an L. But overall, the media interview that he's conducting with ABC is not for you. You already know he sucks. You already know he's demented. The media interview that he's going to conduct is for the donors, the most important, if not the only important group. And if he actually manages this media interview, like above average performance, he doesn't have to go gangbusters. He doesn't have to fucking, he doesn't have to like, you know, recite poetry or anything like that. He just has to, and this is a managed environment. Remember, it's not a debate. He's not up against Donald Trump. He doesn't have 50 million people watching, okay, in real time. It's not being broadcasted live, which is huge, okay? I'm telling you right now, he has to do average. And I think he's capable of doing above average, especially in a managed environment, which is so crazy to think because like that's how low the bar is. The bar is basically baby's first word is Baba. Okay? That's where the bar is. That's crazy. That in and of itself is an immediate cause for concern. That itself means like it's over. The race is done. Okay, we're cooked.
What are you hearing?
Well, Dana, in some ways, this is the cleanup tour really starting in earnest with the president going to Wisconsin today to talk to voters and also participating in that prime time interview. Campaign officials that I have been talking to say, look, we acknowledge this is a high stakes moment for the president, but they're also aware that the president is sometimes prone to those verbal missteps. And so this isn't just about the substance of what the president says during this interview, but also how he delivers it. And then, of course, the president will go to Pennsylvania on Sunday. Now, we are now learning from the campaign that his original event in Pennsylvania to speak with the National Education Association will not occur because of an employee strike. And the campaign says he will not cross the picket line, but he will still have stops in that battleground state. But look, all of this is to say that over the last week, a very challenging week for the Biden campaign, allies have repeatedly said they want to see more candid moments from the president, more unscripted moments, and they're hoping that that is what he can display over the next few days. So this July campaign memo that was released today, in some ways, is them saying, we hear you. In addition to all of these stops, the president also expected to go to Nevada in mid-July to attend 2 conferences where he'll speak directly to Black and Latino voters. It also includes a $50 million paid blitz. So the campaign is certainly trying to build up momentum, especially as they face pressing questions about the president and whether he is the most viable candidate going up against former President Donald Trump in this very heated election season. I will note, because you played the soundbite there earlier of the president at the barbecue just yesterday here at the White House, that while the president observed the fireworks from the White House balcony, he was joined by Vice President Kamala Harris. She has not been there before for that presentation. In the past, she often engages in other July 4th firework engagements. So this was an opportunity to show unity at a time when they are both coming under increased scrutiny.
Let's discuss with White House reporter for Politico, Eli Stokols. Eli, great to see you. This speech in Milwaukee, this primetime interview, if they go well, will it be enough to unravel this narrative surrounding the president's age and mental acuity?
It's a great question, Boris. That's really the question. And I'm not sure they will be. I think people inside the president's inner circle, they've listened, they've heard that there are things that he needs to do to reassure people, and they are trying to do that. A sit-down interview, travel, more unscripted moments. But, you know, at the same time, there is a palpable sense that none of it is really going to offset what the country saw on the debate stage last week.
Yeah, it's like this, okay? You fuck up, or let's say you write a story and you get something wrong. The number of people see you get something wrong is going to be significantly higher than the number of people that see the correction. Okay? You can try to course correct after, but once 50 million live televised viewers watch you fucking stumble around, and then the subsequent media coverage for the next week and a half is about how fucking old you are and how you should just die, it's done. That's the only thing coming out right now. This has been a rather uneventful election cycle. Okay? An incredibly uneventful election cycle. And I told you that this is the most boring, most predictable election cycle thus far. But and I told you this time and time again, it has the capacity to be the most eventful election cycle of our lifetime. And that is currently panning out. It's currently happening. I thought maybe, there could be a medical emergency that would make this very interesting. It turns out it is kind of a medical emergency, but it's not like a one-off. It's more of a slow burn. Far lefties in shambles. Far lefties in shambles. Do you think that far lefties love Joe Biden? What do you think a far lefty is? Commies? You think communists care about Joseph Robinette Brandon in USA? Explain to me your political positions right now. I need to investigate further because this is fun. Do not scare this one. Chat, don't scare him. This is a good one. I like this one. Come on, man. Fuck. They spook so easy, bro. They're like a fucking feral animal in the wild. Like you step on a fucking you step on a branch or some leaves and they immediately spook and then run away. God damn it. I fucked it up. I did it. I fucking spooked him.
Joe Biden has insisted that only the Lord Almighty could persuade him to exit the US presidential race in a potential make or break TV interview aimed at quelling a burgeoning rebellion in the Democratic Party. In an exchange free from major gaffes but unlikely to appease his critics, Biden was asked by George of ABC News how he would feel if he were to remain the nominee and lose to Donald Trump. "I'll feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about," the president replied. In other responses, his opponents may see as arrogant or out of touch. The 81-year-old claimed that he is running the world and no one is more qualified to be president. The interview on Friday came at a critical stretch as the 81-year-old strives to salvage his imperial re-election campaign after last month's disastrous debate performance. 4 members of Congress have called on Biden to step aside, and it was reported that Mark Warner, who chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee, is looking to assemble a group of Democratic senators to ask the president to drop his re-election bid. But on Friday, speaking to George in Madison, Wisconsin after a fiery campaign rally, the president continued to strike a defiant tone. "Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came down and said, 'Joe, get out of the race,' I would get out of the race," he said.
And that the president really took his big liability and made it even bigger, adding to concerns about his age and apparent frailty, and really imperiling his reelection bid. I mean, his campaign is teetering on a razor's edge right now. And even if he gives a decent interview, shows some pep, some vigor, some commitment, there are already, as Isaac spoke to a little while ago, a lot of talks in Democratic circles about what Plan B is going to look like. There are a lot of members on Capitol Hill, dozens in fact, who are already privately of the mind that the Democratic Party needs a new presidential nominee. They haven't said that. Most of them have held back those comments publicly. But that is the conversation behind the scenes inside the White House, inside the campaign. There are some aides who, despite putting their head down, trying to do the work, expressing sort of a determination and resolve to go forward. There are a lot of aides who understand that this may not be fixable. And so, yes.
Biden announced he ain't dropping. Brother, he's been saying that every day, by the way. This isn't new. Like, trust me. He has not stopped saying this. He says it every day. At this point, I don't think people care about him saying he ain't dropping.
All eyes are going to be on what the president says today in Wisconsin and in this interview, how he looks, how he sounds. But it may not.
I think it's kind of funny. They're like, "Oh, dude, I ain't dropping." And people are just kind of like, "Okay, Joe." Because they're just like, because the reason why people want him to drop also kind of renders him and his statements kind of silly and useless. You know what I mean? Because people want him to drop because they think like he's old and demented. So when the old demented guy says, "I ain't dropping," people are like, "Okay, old man, come on. Let's get you to bed, Grandpa." Okay? Come on, Grandpa.
Not be enough to allay the anxieties that a lot of people have across the party, that the president's biggest liability is just not something that can be fixed, and politically speaking, that it may already be fatal.
Joining us now is Larry Sabato from the University of Virginia Center for Politics. Larry, always good to have you on. You sit down with a lot of voters through the years, and
this chat right now, my last strong Biden take is that a lot of people have never seen a sports team that was very obviously about to fire their coach in his shows. Not saying he's 1000% to go, but like tweeted platitudes from the governors about how he's the nominee and we need to beat Trump doesn't mean Biden will stay in. Let's not be naive. That's a great take. Biden says governors didn't say shit to his face after MA Gov now asked him to reconsider. You guys saw the governors, every one of them in that room. All those governors said stay in the race. When reminded, the governor from Massachusetts has said since he should reconsider, he said, Maura Healey didn't say anything when I was in the room, okay? They ain't say shit to my face, Jack. It's so funny that like he's no longer fighting the Republicans. He's now fighting the Democrats. Okay? Which is not a good position to be in when you're supposed to be tapping into every part of your party. Yeah, they probably didn't say it to your face because they didn't want you to fucking die on the spot. Say it to my face. See what happens. Say it to my face, Jack. See what I'll do to you. Also, Hakeem Jeffries on the move. News, Rebecca Kaplan. Representative Hakeem Jeffries, leader of the House Democrats, is convening a virtual meeting with his committee ranking members at 2 p.m. Sunday, 3 sources tell NBC News. One of those sources says the meeting is expected to focus on Joe Biden and make calls from some lawmakers and donors to step aside. House and Senate Democrats plan meetings to discuss Biden's 2024 prospects. Dems who are vastly more popular than he is, mind you. Okay, to be fair, Biden is currently one of the most unpopular politicians in the country. As of today, he has officially reached literally the lowest approval rating of his not his political tenure, but actually it might even be his political tenure, but his lowest approval rating of his presidency. Okay? He's not just underwater, he's now beating records. But most importantly, like I said, millionaire Disney heiress says she's pulling funny the Democrats until Joe Biden exits the 2024 race. Abigail Disney is calling for President Biden to leave the race. But that's not the only person. The Netflix guy also is demanding he drop out. Brad Sherman suggesting delegate mutiny against Biden. Congressman Brad Sherman countered popular belief. Rules of the Democratic Party do not require that the pledged delegates vote for Biden at the convention. Party rules require delegates' votes reflect the sentiment of those who elected them at the time the delegates cast their ballots. Democratic primary voters have one overarching sentiment. We need a candidate who will beat Donald Trump. Here's how Biden can still win. The libs on Reddit are accusing people of being a Russian bot if you mention this. Yes, Redditors are completely out of control with their pro-war, pro-Biden, pro-whatever. They are the last bastion. They are the guys who are going to the fucking Biden. They are the ones doing Biden blasts. They are the ones who are going to the Biden conferences and going, oh my God, blow my back walls out, please. They're crazy. They're pro-Israel. They're pro-Biden. They just take all the worst positions. I don't know what else to say about it. Libs on Reddit have lost their fucking minds. They genuinely are saying shit like Republicans are making leftists hate Biden. It's crazy. Yeah, they have lost their minds. They have been losing their fucking minds. They are also still unimaginably, unconditionally like, keep Ukraine in the fucking fight. Down to the last Ukrainian. Israel must finish the job. They're super, super pro-Israel, which is, of course, immediately at odds with the Ukraine position because Ukraine is the country being invaded and morally is righteous in their emancipatory quest to remove the invading forces, the Russian forces, from their borders, whereas Israel is also the invading force in this, so they're closer to Russia in that regard, and yet they are still pro-Israel. This is because Redditors are the worst type of liberals. They are the unironic, free Democratic Party analysts. They fancy themselves as flacks. They fancy themselves as wonks. They think they are working on K Street, working in DC. They're working on the Hill. They're staffers, except they're not. They literally are just like regular old accountants and shit and doing this for free on the sidelines. Okay? It's bad. Reed Hastings, Netflix co-founder, said Democrats should replace Biden at the top of the ticket. That's also not good for Biden. I mean, it's correct though. It is the correct position. As I have said since day one. Okay? Abigail won't say that to his face. As I've said since day one, okay? You can either say democracy is on the ballot and therefore we have to win. And I am closer to that position than I am to the other position, which is that Biden has to be the guy to do it. Okay? You can't say democracy is on the ballot and also maintain the position that we have to abide by the narcissistic desires of a singular 800-year-old man who believes that it is his time again. Isn't it so sick how all the stories about wealthy donors and C-level executives saying Biden should step down? Who gives a fuck about us peasants, I guess? What a fucking shit country we live in, bro. I actually am so fucking doom-pilled at this point. It's crazy. Brother, come on. Yeah, of course those are the only fucking voices that matter. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah. If the money faucet runs out, then the Democratic Party is truly cooked. If they shut off the money cannon, if they shut off the faucet, how the fuck is Biden going to get elected? He's not. He's not getting elected. He's cooked. That's it. What is this? Spoke this eve. Post-Madison event with two top national elected Democrats. There are two things that are true at once. They both said separately. One, they're beginning to accept President Biden is not considering at all leaving the ticket, and few, if any, want to publicly push him. Two, Biden's determination to stay in hasn't stopped talk of trying to get him to reconsider that position, especially after hearing from voters, donors on the 4th and talking among other elected Ds. There's also a growing sense that VP Harris is nominee if President Biden goes, which he says he won't do. Why? In order to avoid political war and let the fight be over running mate. No one is making any moves, even privately, to prepare to challenge her for nom this summer in such a scenario. But again, as of 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time, ahead of the ABC interview, sources around White House and Biden family say he's determined as ever, confident he can beat Trump, and believes democracy is on the line with this election, and is confident Dems will ultimately see it like him as debate fades. That is insane, dude. Because here's the problem. Biden has a very serious problem. He keeps flubbing, okay? And every new flub reminds people of the big bad one, okay? This is just delusion. Biden could legally assassinate Trump. I know, but he's not going to do that because he's a pussy. What are we talking about? He ain't going to do that shit either. You're president. What do you do day one? Oh, jorking my peanuts in the White House, dude. Stroking that shit with oil on my shit. Stroking it. Telling everybody, I'm telling Secret Service to post up outside the door. Day one, jorking it, dude. How does that help me? Who said anything about helping you, dude? I'm gooning. I'm gripping, dude. I'm gripping hard in the White House. In the Oval, baby. I'm doing O-face in the Oval. Straight jorking it. And then if I get caught, or if someone writes an article about it, I'm going to be like, listen, I needed that post-nut clarity. You know what I'm saying? Before calling up President Vladimir Putin, I had to fucking jork my shit because I need that clarity. I need to be on my tippy top game. You feel me? Someone said Vladimir Putin is no fap. Yeah, that's why he sucks. See? If Vladimir Putin had jorked it before deciding to invade Ukraine, he would not have invaded Ukraine. He would have known that that's a bad fucking idea. Wait, what? Oh, it's starting? President Biden was asked by George Stephanopoulos if he watched last week's debate. I don't think I did. No. Oh, man. Oh, baby. Oh, man. Oh, Trump also pretending to not know about Project 2025. Is this a real tweet? This is fake, right? It's real? It's kind of surprising. It's the truth, not a tweet. If he's saying this, it's kind of surprising that he's actually saying this. Because honestly, I feel like he would just do better not mentioning it at all. He would do better just not to mention it. acknowledging its existence is not smart for him because, like, one, the thing is, he probably looks at it and he's like, it's some nerd shit. I think the reason why he's doing that is because, I mean, this is political instinct time. He knows that that's like a pretty good reason to vote for whoever that's not Trump. And he probably sees that like picking up momentum in TikTok, Reddit, and all these other spaces, like all these social media spaces. He also partially probably thinks it's like nerd shit. He doesn't know about it because he can't read. Yeah, no, but he probably, it is basically his platform. It's just that like, it's nerd shit to him. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, whatever, shut up. But I think the reason why he's saying this is because he's like, he doesn't want to fuck up the bag. He doesn't want to fuck up the bag. He thinks he's got it. He thinks he's in his bag right now and he doesn't want to fuck it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what it feels like. Or because he thinks he's going to be unpopular and trying to distance himself. I mean, do I believe that Donald Trump is absolutely going to follow through on Project 2025? The Republican Party is doing it already. Okay. Trump did Project 2025. The major difference is like the changing of the appointments. Currently, 4,000 positions are appointed. They want to raise that to 50,000. Every single federal agency appointment needs to be committed to the presidency, committed to the executive office. That in and of itself is obviously psychopathic. It's dictatorship. But Trump did that. He refused to fill cabinet positions that he couldn't fucking appoint people to. Like he was undermining regulatory agencies by refusing to appoint people into cabinet positions that he was supposed to appoint people to so that those regulatory agencies would work. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I mean by this? Like, he already did that in his first term to a certain degree. This would just basically, move further into that direction. Here's the Biden clip video.
You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It's a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked if they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad
debate.
Dude, I forget who said this, but like the way to just defeat this entire presidency, this is a freebie for any journalist that ever gets the opportunity to interview this man. The way to absolutely destroy his reelection and his candidacy is very simple. Okay? One of two things. One, ask him what year his son died. Two, okay, if you're not going to do that, ask him the name of like one of his friends or one of his like appointments, okay, to a cabinet or one of his advisors. I'm telling you right now, he is not going to be able to recall. Okay, that's it. And then it's over. It's a freebie. I'm sorry. If you're a journalist and you really want like a career opportunity, ask him his earliest childhood memory. No, that's dumb as fuck. When you're demented, you remember that shit. You can't remember new shit. Your brain stops producing new memories or recalling new memories. No, you're not supposed to fucking ask him about like shit from the past. He will recant experiences from 1947. Well, when the fuck was he born? I think he was like literally born in 1946 or something. Anyway, he can recant experiences like super easily. He can recall perfectly. You ask him for like a newer memory that he must have formed in office and it's over. Okay. That's a good way to get another corn pop story. Yeah. You can get him talk about corn pop all day, every day. I'm telling you right now, dude. Anyway, ask him what he ate for breakfast. He won't remember. Wife works in memory care. That's another fucked up one, but a good one. But he could just lie. That's the thing. He could just be like, I had a breakfast burrito. You know what I mean? That's why I brought up something that like everyone knows, right? Or is like very easy to verify.
President Biden is under mounting pressure from certain factions within his party to exit the 2024 race after his disappointing debate performance last week. Several prominent Democrats have openly called for the president to step down, expressing doubts about his ability to defeat Donald Trump in the upcoming November elections. Here are some of the Democrats, including some sitting members of Congress, who have asked Biden to step down. On Thursday, Representative Moulton became the third House Democrat to suggest President Biden should step down. He said, "Let new leaders rise up and run against Donald Trump." Moulton shared that his conclusion was influenced by discussions with other Democrats regarding Biden's prospects in the upcoming elections. Moulton said, "That's what's most important. We have to win." Grijalva urged Biden to step aside from the presidential race on Wednesday, telling the New York Times, "What he needs to do is shoulder the responsibility for keeping that seat, and part of that responsibility is to get out of this race." While Grijalva stated that he would back Biden if he chooses to remain a candidate, he expressed doubts about Biden's ability to defeat Trump in the upcoming November election. Former Ohio Republican Tim Ryan also expressed his concerns. Ryan, who had questioned whether Biden should run for re-election as early as 2022, declared in a Newsweek op-ed on Monday that Vice President Kamala Harris should be the Democratic presidential nominee. "Witnessing Joe Biden's struggle was heartbreaking, and we must forge a new path forward," he wrote. "Those who say that the Harris candidacy is a greater risk than the Joe Biden we saw the other night and will continue to see are not living in reality." Julian Castro, former Housing and Urban Development Secretary, also questioned Biden. In a Tuesday post on X, Castro critiqued Biden's debate performance, stating that disturbingly demonstrated that he is unable to effectively prosecute the case against Donald Trump, much less inspire and mobilize voters to the polls. Reflecting on his experience as a former Biden opponent in the 2020 primaries, Castro argued that Biden no longer possesses the campaign vigor he had 4 years ago and expressed concern that Biden looks very likely to lose to Trump. He said President Biden should fulfill his promise to be a bridge to the next generation of leadership and allow a stronger Democratic candidate to prevent a disastrous Trump turn. If you found this video interesting, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And thanks for watching.